There is nothing more painful than realizing the family you built, the children you sacrificed everything to raise, look at you as nothing more than an embarrassing liability. My wife, Martha, and I have been married for 45 years. We aren't wealthy corporate moguls. We are retired public school teachers from Ohio. We spent our lives saving pennies, driving used cars, and skipping vacations just to make sure our son, Ethan, had everything he ever needed. When he graduated from college debt-free, we cried tears of joy. When he proposed to his girlfriend, Vanessa, a high society event planner from New York, we thought our family was just growing bigger. We were so happy that we dipped deep into our hard-earned retirement savings to write a check for $50,000. It was meant to be a wedding gift, enough to cover their dream venue and give them a massive head start on their first home. But 3 weeks before the wedding, the mail arrived. Martha was standing by the kitchen counter, holding a sleek, heavy cream-colored envelope. The official wedding invitations had finally arrived. Martha's hands were shaking. I walked over, smiling, asking, "Well, open it up. Let's see what table we're sitting at." Martha didn't open it. She looked up at me, her eyes brimming with tears, and handed me a small typed note that was slipped inside the envelope. It wasn't an invitation. It was a rejection letter from our own son and his fiancée. I took the paper, my eyes scanning the words as my chest tightened. "Dear Mom and Dad, we love you, but after a lot of thought, Vanessa and I have decided that our wedding will be a strictly high-profile, modern aesthetic event. Vanessa's family is hosting a lot of corporate executives and influencers. We feel that your traditional old-school presence might conflict with the sophisticated vibe we are going for. To avoid any awkwardness with the dress code or social dynamics, we ask that you celebrate with us from afar. We will send pictures." I stared at the paper in absolute disbelief. Banned. Banned from our only son's wedding because a snobbish girl thought 2 retired teachers from Ohio weren't sophisticated enough for her Instagram photos. And the worst part? Our son Ethan didn't even have the courage to call us. He let his fiancée mail us an eviction notice from his life. Martha wept for 3 days straight. She had already bought her dress, a simple, elegant navy blue gown that she spent weeks picking out. Seeing that dress hanging in the closet broke my heart, and that grief quickly turned into a cold, burning rage. I picked up the phone and called Ethan. It went to voicemail 3 times before he finally picked up. "Hey, Dad," his voice sounded tense, hurried. "Look, I know you got the letter. Please don't make a big deal out of this. Vanessa is under a lot of stress. Her parents are funding the catering, and their friends are very high status. Vanessa was worried you guys would feel out of place around that crowd." Out of place? My voice boomed through the phone, my hands gripping the receiver so hard my knuckles turned white. "Ethan, we are your parents. Your mother has done nothing but pray for your happiness, and you are banning us from your wedding because of a vibe?" "Dad, you don't understand the corporate world," Ethan said, sounding completely brainwashed. "Appearance matters. Vanessa's career depends on this networking event. It's just one day. You can see us at Thanksgiving. Besides, we still really appreciate the $50,000 wedding gift. It helped us secure the Glass Pavilion venue in Manhattan. Vanessa told everyone her in-laws are incredibly generous." I took a deep, slow breath. They banned us from the venue, but they happily kept our money. They used our life savings to buy their way into high society, while discarding us like trash. "So, you've already cashed the check?" I asked, keeping my voice dangerously calm. "Yeah, last month." "Why?" "Nothing, son. Have a beautiful wedding," I said, and hung up the phone. I looked over at Martha. Her eyes were still red, but when she saw the look on my face, she knew the gentle, quiet grandfather she knew had just checked out. It was time to show Vanessa and Ethan exactly what happens when you disrespect the hands that fed you. What Ethan and Vanessa didn't realize was a tiny, crucial detail about that $50,000 gift. Because we wanted to ensure the money was strictly used for their future and not wasted on superficial things before the wedding, I hadn't just handed them cash. I had opened a joint high-yield escrow-style account with Ethan's name on it, linked directly to my primary credit union account. The funds were technically accessible for major wedding deposits, but the account rules required a 30-day clearing period for massive external liquidations, and my name was still listed as the primary account holder and guarantor. I got in my car, drove straight to the bank, and sat down with our longtime financial advisor, Sarah. "Arthur, what can I do for you today?" she asked warmly. "Sarah, that $50,000 transfer I authorized for my son's wedding account last month, is it fully finalized into their personal private banking yet, or is it still in the clearing holding tier?" Sarah tapped away at her keyboard, frowning slightly. "Since it's a high-yield joint account under your primary membership, the final absolute release to his personal checking doesn't happen until the 1st of next month. Right now, it's holding. He's authorized a $10,000 deposit to a venue, but the remaining $40,000 is sitting right there." "Why?" "Revoke the authorization," I said firmly. "Pull every single dime of the remaining $40,000 back into my private savings. And as for the $10,000 already authorized to the venue, file an emergency dispute. The agreement was conditional upon a family event. The terms have been breached." Sarah looked shocked. "Arthur, this will completely freeze their wedding payment pipeline. If the venue doesn't get cleared by next week, their booking will be automatically canceled." "Good," I replied. "If Martha and I aren't sophisticated enough to sit in the audience, then our money isn't sophisticated enough to pay for their glass pavilion." The reaction was instantaneous. 4 days later, my phone started ringing off the hook. It was 11 p.m. I picked it up and put it on speakerphone. "What did you do?" Ethan was screaming so loud the speaker distorted. "Dad, the venue just called us. The $40,000 final payment bounced, and the $10,000 holding deposit was flagged for fraud. They gave away our Saturday night slot to another couple. Vanessa is having a literal panic attack right now." Before I could answer, another voice snatched the phone. It was Vanessa, dropping her elegant, high society facade completely. "You miserable, petty old man," she shrieked, her voice shaking with rage. "You ruined my life. Do you know how many executives from Vogue and Wall Street are flying in for this? We don't have a venue. We are humiliated. You gave us that money as a gift. You can't just steal it back." Martha stepped up beside me, looking calm and incredibly dignified. She leaned into the phone and said, "Vanessa, sweetheart, we didn't steal it. We just realized that our traditional old-school money didn't fit the sophisticated aesthetic of your bank account. We didn't want to cause any awkwardness for your influencers. You owe us that money." Vanessa screamed, "Ethan, tell them." But Ethan sounded defeated, his voice trembling. "Dad, please. The wedding is in 2 weeks. We already sent the invitations. If we don't have a venue, we have to cancel the entire thing. We'll be the laughingstock of Vanessa's entire social circle. Just give the money back, and we'll find a way to get you a seat in the back row. We'll make room." I let out a cold laugh. "The back row? No thank you, Ethan. We've decided to celebrate your marriage from afar, just like you wanted. We'll wait for the pictures." I pressed the red button, ending the call. For the first time in weeks, Martha smiled. Without our $50,000, Ethan and Vanessa's high society wedding collapsed like a house of cards. They couldn't find another venue in New York on 2 weeks' notice that they could afford on their own. Vanessa's wealthy parents, it turned out, were all talk. They had promised to pay for catering but didn't have the liquid cash to save the venue. To save face, Ethan and Vanessa had to cancel the Grand Manhattan Gala and get married in a rushed, tiny ceremony at a local city hall. None of the corporate executives showed up. None of the influencers cared. Vanessa's perfect aesthetic was completely ruined. It's been a year since that day. Ethan tried to reach out a few months ago, complaining about how stressful his marriage has become and how Vanessa blames him for the disaster. "I love my son, but until he truly understands the value of family over social status, there is a wall between us. As for the $50,000, Martha and I didn't let it sit in the bank. Last month, we used it to take a beautiful month-long luxury cruise around Europe. We wore our finest clothes, ate at the captain's table, and took plenty of pictures. We realized that respect isn't something you can buy, but disrespect is certainly something you can penalize. Ethan and Vanessa sacrificed their own parents for the sake of an Instagram aesthetic, and it cost them everything. Now, our son is trapped in a bitter marriage, and we are enjoying our retirement on the vacation of our dreams. What do you think? Did we go too far by pulling the money at the last second and ruining their wedding? Or did this daughter-in-law get exactly what she deserved for banning her own family? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more real family drama.